Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome back to the free-to-play review. So today's topic is going to be the return of the summon pool system, the Prism Shards system, whatever you wish to call it. And this time, we do have a pretty juicy pool of champions. The theme here is fusion champions, so previous fusion legendaries, epics used in fusions, or epic fusions themselves. And I'm calling this juicy because we do have a chance to get a Nishak Verminlord, one of the best, if not the best, Bommel champion in the game, as well as a very solid arena bomber to deal with Stone Skin, Polymorph. And probably one of the strongest PvE champions in the game as well. You have Mighty Uko, very popular in Hydra Clan boss for the block buffs, decrease accuracy, capability, decrease attack as well, and the break in case of emergency revive. In addition to that, but also of course in the arena, we all know that stun Uko or provoke Uko going on at stun set. I've seen days Ukos as well, believe it or not. Rogni, of course, more popular nowadays because of the Cadaver team in Hydra that will be nerfed, thankfully. But he's still a good champion in his own right. Just one of his most powerful abilities is having block debuffs and increased attack, so you can set up and protect your team, but also an irremovable shield. So one of the only champions who can basically do a bolster set in an ability. Rotos kind of goes without saying, but one of the best arena snipers in the entire game, single target nuker. Newt, the king of PvE, I guess that's kind of fair to say. Enemy max HP, triple hitter, so the best, at least for single target bosses. But he's also used in Hydra quite a lot, so maybe not just limited to single target bosses, but he is one of the best DPS for those situations. And of course, Helikath is probably the best AoE block damage champion in the entire game. So very, very solid legendaries in this pool. Taking a quick look through the epics, we do have a couple that I should point out here. Mordecai, one of the best affinity-friendly HP burners. So if you're looking to progress in Spider Dungeon, he's definitely one of the best champions for that. I know Filja hits pretty hard for the dwarves. Hoskril already mentioned previous fusion, but he's really solid defensive-based nuker with a CC or stun in his kit. Myceliac Priest Ornn, quite popular for some sort of solo strategies. You can run him in regen and other types of stuff, and he can poison poison waves and bosses and be able to do that, at least on normal mode for the most part. Anchorite is one of the few champions who does have a extend buffs on a 3-turn cooldown. So stuff like that. So decent amount of epics in the pool as well. Now it is also important to acknowledge that the cost has gone up from the previous one, or relative to the previous one. So we're up at 60 per summon. However, it is fairly warranted because the legendary rate is a whopping 12% and there's no rares again in the pool. And so 12% is essentially a sacred shard on a 2x. So that's a pretty high chance, about 1 in 8, 1 in 9. For you to get a legendary. And then we're also talking about a pool that only has 6 legendaries in it. Now, of course, as a free-to-play player, I don't necessarily recommend buying the Prism crystals or whatever, but since you get 20 for $5, at least in the base packs here, maybe there's a better deal in the limited time offers or whatever. But from this directly, it would only cost you $15 per summon. And we're talking again about effectively a 2x Sacred Shard on an extremely limited pool of champions. So while I don't personally recommend buying it, I can definitely see a lot of people doing that because that's a fairly decent return on your investment. Again, 1 in 8-ish chance to get one of 6 legendaries. And there's definitely going to be a lot of double newt teams coming out just because of this offering. But focusing on the free-to-play aspect of this, we do see that we have to gather 60 crystals in order to get a summon. And thankfully, they do have an offering of 60 if you participate in both of the tournaments going on right now. It doesn't look like there's any other sources, so basically you can not get per se, but you can earn 1 free summon. So there are 40 here at the top of the Sandoval Turn Attack Tournament. You can see here I'm not doing so hot, but up at 4,000 points you can get 40. And then the other half, I guess not really half, mathematically speaking, but the other section of it, 20 here, is in the Dragon Tournament, just a standard tournament, not Turn Attack or anything like that. But up there at 3,500, you can get the other 20. Combine those, you get 40 and 20, which is 60. So you can earn 1 free summon just by playing the game or participating in the event in the game. We are just coming off of a fusion, so this is that dead period before the next fusion where you can kind of do whatever you want. So if you do want to participate in this, there are options. There are 2 tournaments live that you can spend your energy and resources on, particularly if you skipped the Bambus fusion, then you're probably primed up as far as gem count or energy count just to go ham on this. And then you can earn your one summon, and hopefully you get lucky, 12% chance, 1 in 8, that you'll get one of the juicy legendaries here at the top. As for myself, I don't put a lot of value in Sand Devil just yet. I'm still prioritizing in my free energy time Minotaur, just because I do have a backlog of champions that need masteries, and masteries make your champion function, so I'd rather work on that. Even though I would be tempted to try and earn one shot to get a duplicate Rhodos that I've mentioned a few times recently. That would be nice for my account, but honestly I wouldn't mind a duplicate of Uko or getting Helicath, because I did not get that fusion. Story time for a future video perhaps. So with that said, that does mean that I am not participating in this particular summon pool, which does highlight the benefit of this type of event, where you don't have to worry about hoarding resources or saving them up and waiting and not knowing if it's the right time or the wrong time for you to use them. You can just look at what's being offered, decide if you want to pursue it, at least for the free summon, and then you can pick and choose which ones you want to go for. And in this case, it is tempting, but I'm not going to go for it personally. And so that's just it. I'm going to be working on other things in the game. And speaking of things going on in the game, I would be slightly remiss if I did not mention that there is the pretty standard at this point, but the 10x going on during CVC, where they are offering one of my most wanted champions or most wanted legendaries in the game, Valkyrie, 10x on Ancient, Primal, and Sacred Shards. Unfortunately, I don't value 10x's that highly because the odds are so ridiculously low that you're actually going to get the champion that is specified in the 10x, and we can actually take a look quickly at that math here. So for a single, double, and triple 10x, in this case we have a single 10x, so Valkyrie from Ancients and Sacreds, for example, will be around 6% chance to get the one champion, which means you have a 94% chance, which is way more likely, to get anything else, and that's only if you get a legendary at all. And if you watched my previous shard pool video, you will know that we are in somewhat of a good position, 72 shards maximum away from guaranteed, or from hitting Mercy, guaranteeing legendary. So technically, playing around Mercy, I could guarantee myself a legendary and thus give myself that 6% chance at the Valkyrie. But again, I don't really trust that happening, and so I would still rather go for a pogo event on Ancient Shards in the future and just take my chances with a double legendary, hoping that one of them might be Valkyrie in the future. And the main reason I wanted to highlight this at all is because I know a lot of people look at my shard count and they think, how on earth do you have this many shards? You can see them here, right? But it's decisions like this where I can see the potential in an event, but I deem it not worthy unless I don't participate. And then I just save my shards for some event where I do want to participate in. And so you keep doing that over a long period of time, and you start to build up an abundance of shards just because you're skipping more events than you're actually participating in, because all of them are not really worth it. You can't participate in all of them. That's not a thing. That's not a possibility unless you are a spender in the game. You could basically remove that from your mind. But again, the main point here is that just picking and choosing the events you participate in is one aspect of how you can build up shards over time, even as a free-to-play player. So that's going to do it for today's free-to-play review of the Fusion Summon Pool event. Let me know down in the comment section below if you guys are going to pursue the one free summon by participating in the 2 tournaments going on. And if you do that, let me know who you got from your Prism Shard. As always, if you found this video helpful, then be sure to hit that like button down below. And if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to hit that subscribe button down below as well. We're still on the road to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We've got just under 3 months to go. So we're still trucking along. We're on like 760 or so. So good ways to go, but we're getting there. We're getting close. So if you would like to join those lovely 760 people, you can hit that subscribe button down below for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching and have a good one.